Thank you for tuning in to the TranscendwithM Podcast. This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, BRC Insurance, the #1 insurance broker serving the Latino community in the Americas, and Savitol Virtual Assistants, serving business owners and insurance brokers across America. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Transcend with M. And I am very excited today because our guest, Tina, she was one of our first guests initially in 2020, and she has gone through an amazing journey in the past year and change that it's going to give us a whole different perspective of how one person's journey can truly take different routes, different ways, but it's always ending up on success. And success, as you know, is whatever means to you. So I am really happy to welcome Tina again here, just to hear what is this second phase, this second season of that story that it started like 2 years ago. Welcome, Tina. How are you?
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to hear. I'm so excited to understand the why of this journey.
Yeah.
But, for those that don't know you, just give them a little bit of who's Tina and why are we doing this for the second time?
Okay, cool. So in this season of my life, I am Tina, still Tina, which is a good thing. But I am a mom of a 4.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, and I'm a wife, and I am basically finding my way back into the working world. I've been home with my kids for about 3 years now. Last time we talked, I was, toxic-free living advocate, toxic-free living consultant. Really passionate about that. But this whole thing is, I like to refer to it as pretty magical because of the way it all kind of played out. And now I'm shifting gears and I'm wrapping up a certification course to run support groups for moms in my community. So it all kind of just like fell into my lap. And I can't say that I manifested it because I really wasn't like understanding and knew really how to manifest when all this was happening, but it definitely was some universal things happening that it kind of just like showed itself to me. And now I feel like this is where I'm meant to be. I'm 40 years old now and this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
That's amazing. And it's so incredible that we can go through all these different seasons, right, of life. So I'm just gonna dig in and ask you straight out, what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, I was like, you knew I had this passion for the toxic free.
Yeah.
And we were doing the wine together, and let's see, let me rewind a little bit. Last March, I kind of, before that, I quit drinking. So that was a huge change in my life. I let go of a friendship to alcohol that I had for many long time.
Decades.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I did it without like the AA community. I just kind of, there's a term for it in the sober community that it's like called, spontaneous sobriety. So my husband quit before me, and then I decided to quit almost 1.5 years ago now. So that changed a lot. Like that's like a whole other podcast. But it opened up space for me to like really do more things, explore more things, get to really know me, because it was kind of clouding who I really was. And didn't really know who I was. And I talk about it like in a way where like I would probably do these podcasts and be asked like, tell me about yourself. And I would get like really nervous about it because I'm like, well, I don't really know how to answer this question. But fast forward like 1.5 years later, I'm like, It's like totally different ball game. The confidence is there. Like it doesn't feel forced. So anyway, so that happened. And then last March, I decided to, a little bit before that, I was going to try to launch like being a toxic free consultant. And, and something must have pinged me to say, give it up, just take a break. It's, be a mom. So I just decided that while I had the chance, because my son's going to be going to preschool in the fall, that I was just going to let it all go and just like not try to, help the toxic free movement and like try to get customers and push this new business. Cause that's exactly how it felt like. It was pushing and forcing. So I had to let it go. So I did. And I was just being a mom and doing my thing and enjoying the kids. And, I still had things going on here and there. But nothing like I was trying to like before that. So then flash forward to the summertime. I was actually driving around doing a nap ride. If you're a mom, you know what it's like to have a nap ride every once in a while.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was listening to a podcast, and it was by Aviva Ram. And I can, if you want to include this like in links or whatever, I can share the podcast link because it was amazing. They talked about how motherhood is just so glamorized, and there isn't enough talk about mental health and things like that. And there were two women on the podcast that were being interviewed about lobbying for more questions to be asked prenatal, postpartum. So it's like more about the mom, because you have a baby now in our country, and then 6 weeks later you
go back to work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you go back to work too.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did. I went back to work 6 weeks after I had Veronica.
Oh my God. And it's like, we don't have the choice really, because never mind, we go off on a tangent about like the economy, like we have to work. Like it's crazy. So I was like really feeling that podcast, and I was like, yes, this is amazing. And it was like hitting home for me, because I always felt like, since I had my daughter, Charlie, 4.5 years ago, that something was missing when I became a new mom. Like I had home birth. So I had midwives coming to my house, like maybe they came 8 times within the 6-week period. So I had more support, but I always felt like there was still something missing. Like I wanted to be around other women going through the same thing. I even tried to like whip together like a Facebook group to get moms to walk with me. It only happened like once or twice, but I felt like, it was something in me was trying.
Yeah.
But
you were trying.
Yeah, but it wasn't the time, right? Like it wasn't the time. So I'm listening to this podcast. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. Then a few nights after that, I go and have dinner with girlfriends. Actually, Lindsay from Chicago was home, and
she's not in Massachusetts anymore.
I know. She came home for a little bit. And she put together like a dinner for her friends out in Boston. So I went out, big night out for me. Stayed out till midnight. It was wild.
Boston and everything, huh?
Huge. Yeah. Big steps. So one of our mutual friends was there, Sarah, and she was talking to me about motherhood, and we were just talking about how it's hard. Like it is really hard. She was home, working from home. Her husband's working from home. They have a 3-month-old, a 3-year-old, a nanny there, like, and she's just like, and it kind of felt like being downplayed, and I was just like, Sarah, just tell me like it is. There's no judgment here. Like, I think it's really, really difficult what we're doing. Like, and some people might not feel this way. Some people might feel completely different, which is fine, but that's not who I'm talking to. So it must have made an impression on her, because a few days later she shoots me a text message, and it's this certification program for running support groups in your community. And she's like, I could totally see you doing this. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So I'm reading it, and I'm like, it's like, be your own business owner, start a movement, like all the things that I've been doing, like with the toxic free stuff. Like it was kind of like having your own business. It was multi-level marketing. They tell you it's like you're having your own business, which it's really not, and to be honest, but it's similar. Like you have to go out and find your own customers. And I lost my train of thought there. Gone.
No, you were talking about multi-level marketing, and then now you are reviewing, how to actually
Yes.
do your own support groups and therapy sessions.
And the movement and stuff like that. It's always been a movement for toxic-free living. So I was like, this is amazing. So I hopped on board. I joined it. It was the first certification program they launched. It's a company based out of Boston. NAPS, NAPS, Newborn and Parenting Support. Great resource that you should follow on Instagram or Facebook. They've been doing this for over 10 years. And what they saw was after COVID, the need for more of this in-person connection of moms going through the same thing like blew up. And there's actually research from Harvard done that this is actually like really needed. Like women want this. So they saw the opportunity to train and teach other women the same thing that they're doing in Boston to launch in their communities. So there's about 12 women, and we're all on a coaching call, and we're learning everything, how they run their business, how they, educate women. So I have got like 2 more calls left, and then I'm officially certified. So
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I love it. I love it. So in this journey, I guess I have a few questions.
Yeah, go for it, girl.
The first question, how hard was it to give it up? Because you are you're always so involved with everything and everybody. Like, I just can't picture it. I just can't. So how hard was it? And then what were the lessons learned? I guess I want to know.
Yes. Giving up alcohol or giving up
just giving up like the overall like, I'm just gonna give it all up and I'm gonna concentrate on my kids and like giving it all up when you're so involved. You have a schedule, you have these things that you are selling, these things you are supporting, you have all these people that it's on your group. Like how was that the whole process? I mean, it includes, the wine was a huge part of it too. So I guess it's intertwined. Like it's not just about the drinking, but like you had to give up a big portion of your life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was like my identity. That's how I was totally toxic free with Tina, for Christ's sakes. Like, like I was like so into it. Yes, I know. I guess it wasn't that hard, I feel like, to kind of let it go. Because I think that deep down in my gut, I knew that there was something else out there for me. There was that this wasn't the end. This was just a temporary thing.
Okay.
I did have like with the wine, we did have like a large team. But people started kind of falling off too. They stopped renewing, like things like it just kept on, like it was, the signs were just being clear to me that this was not where it was going anymore for me. So I didn't find it super hard to let it go. It was kind of empowering to be like, no, like I don't need this right now. I'm very grateful that like my husband, is a successful chiropractor and I could do this, I'm like, thank you for that. I'll never, not grateful for that. But I mean, it was just also too knowing that my kids like were growing, right? And I left the insurance business many years ago to be with the kids, right? And then I kind of feel like I lost light of just doing that. Like I was very focused on still having something else to keep my identity, and which I wouldn't change for the world, but it was just like the writing was kind of on the wall for me that this is the time to do it. Just do it. And I didn't feel like I was really leaving anyone, because in the multi-level marketing world, there's more people above me that could like help out, and they're very supportive of that. And that answer your question?
I guess to the best of the ability that we're able to comprehend, right? So who is Tina? I guess, right? They
Yeah.
went through that journey. So who is really Tina?
So that's such a hard one still.
Well, you told me you were ready.
I know. It's easier to say it like when I said it at the beginning, and it's like, well, yes, I am a mom. The facts, right? Like my bio. I guess, like from just thinking about before, like I feel like my confidence has increased. I've always struggled with that my whole life. I put on a good show because I had alcohol to kind of help me with that.
Yeah.
And I've been just trying to be a little bit less of giving all, I think. I think that I've really kind of honed in on what's really important to me and what fills my cup and what doesn't fill my cup and who supports me and who doesn't support me, and, you know, reciprocating friendships and things like that. And I feel like overall I'm a very caring, like, you know, sympathetic. I have compassion for like the moms like that didn't, you know, like this is where it's going, is like I want to help the other moms that felt like me when I had my child, when I had my first child, like that they needed more friends, they needed more village.
Yeah. So what can we expect from Tina?
Okay. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I know. You were struggling a little bit on that back one, but you know, we're all a work in progress.
I know.
And
really
it's okay. You know, there was a friend of mine that had the idea that they should interview me on the podcast, and I was like, not happening. I am not ready to answer all the questions that I asked you.
Yeah. Just crossed my mind. I was going to say, well, how about you, Monica?
Let's move on.
I know, but I guess it would, you know, I'm first and foremost a mom. We will always be defined by that. I mean, we can't say we're not moms, right? Like,
right.
And then, but after that, who are we? Like, yeah, it's a very valid question. Like,
you know, like yesterday. So, all right, segue here. Like, just a small parenthesis here. So, I struggle with being a mom, right? Like every day, I'm like, I want to have more kids, but oh no, thank you. Oh, I want to have more kids, but no, thank you. You know, like the selfish side, and then the I don't want Veronica to be by herself side, right? And yesterday she calls me and she's like, Mom, I need an outfit. I have a dance on Friday night and Daddy is gonna take me to the dance, and I need a white dress and white boots. And honestly, Tina, I never go through so many hoops to make anybody else so happy.
Yeah.
But she is my daughter, and before anything, I am the mom. Yep. If I have to drive 3 hours to get whatever it is, I'll do it. And she called me at 6:30, and by 8:30, I was here with the entire outfit. So it's you know, the definition of being a mom is just like we're almost making the impossible happen, right? Yeah, like it's a constant in our lives, every single minute, every single day, just to give this person a better life, you know, and a better environment and a better everything that what we had, you know. So it's I don't know. I know some people don't, you know, everybody has different philosophies on how to raise their children, how like whatever. And I've raised Veronica to tell her, like, I don't give you what you want, I'll give you what you need. But whether it's the small moments like that, where like it's her first dance, right? Like she has a crush, and she wants to look like, you know, the best, the most elegant. She was like, Mom, I don't want to look like those girls from YouTube. Like, I want to be elegant. And I was like, oh shit, like I need to go to like Natick Mall. So you know, it's almost like an unbelievable responsibility.
Oh,
uh,
totally.
I don't even know, of course, how to describe it, but
I
I
know.
you
You
know
don't know until you're there. Like, you really,
yeah,
like,
yeah, it's it
yeah.
is something that it's impossible, like the first thing when I had her, when well she was in my belly, I was like, this is fine.
Yeah.
But when I had her and I hold her, I went, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Real.
need to have food on my table every single day,
Uh-huh.
and I need to have a place to live every single day. There
Yes.
is no choice from here on out. Like,
Yeah.
there is, and it's just almost like your entire world
Absolutely.
changes in a way, right? And
Oh, absolutely.
I see where we
So
were.
many.
Like, we were basically kids. I mean, no one is prepared to have kids, and
Right.
like Anthony was like 24 and I was 26 when I had
Mhm.
Veronica. Like, she was not even on the plan. Like, it was no plan.
Totally.
Like, no plan at all. So I certainly hear you. Like, there is so many struggles that and things that go to our minds that we feel guilty talking about them because we
Mhm.
don't know, like, how we're going to be perceived, like how, and all these things. But anyways,
I
sorry
know.
about that. It just brought me to like
Yeah.
this
No,
whole journey of like, oh my god,
I know.
I was actually able to get her first outfit for her first crush dance.
Yes, I can.
Oh, mom,
When you're talking about, like, you know, parenting and like doing it differently than like
yeah,
how we were parented, and I totally, totally like can relate to that, because like I feel like I'm constantly like reparenting myself
yeah,
and then also parenting a child. But someone I love dearly, my friend Lisa Karat,
mm,
she she brought up a really cool point, that the way we're parenting our kids is basically how we want to speak to our own inner child.
mm,
So I thought that was fascinating. So
it
we're
is.
parenting already how
Yeah.
we wanted to be parented. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Well, if you look into it, right? For example, I was so excited that Veronica was going to the dance on Friday. Everybody else will be like freak out. Like, Anthony's freaked out. He's like, I'm gonna go, and I was like, you do that? Like, I can't make it.
Yeah,
But I was so excited because why? I
right.
never got the chance,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Totally.
living that experience through her,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
it is 100% accurate what
yeah.
Lisa said.
You're letting little Monica go to her first dance.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I'll be like, oh my god, these pictures are amazing. I hope she doesn't listen to this episode because her friends actually listen to the podcast.
I love
But
it.
I got to meet Thomas, and he's a nice kid. Another conversation for tonight when we go to dinner.
Yes, totally. I'm so sorry. The babysitter's texting me. So let me just take a peek real quick.
Yeah. Oh,
Fine. Lukey fell asleep.
great.
Great at 3:30 in the afternoon.
You're gonna be awake for a little bit tonight.
Yeah,
Just
that's
saying.
good.
So, what can we expect from Tina, I guess, is
So-
the next question.
So I feel like this supported mom initiative of Central Massachusetts is so needed and wanted in our community. I just see this being like bigger than just like a support group. Like, I see this being like a committee of women, like mental health professionals, women's health professionals, pelvic floor therapists, like all lactation consultants, all these amazing women that
Yeah.
I am networking with, which I'm so excited to get back out there and do this, because that's what we do in the insurance world, and I haven't done that in years. And I see like all these women coming together, like to educate and bring awareness of the things that we don't talk about enough in this country,
Yeah.
and we don't know about enough. We're not educated on it. And I'm the one that's going to bring those people together. I just feel like we can get in front of more women together if we collaborate and come together. meaning of the minds kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I literally, what you're going to see from me is like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm launching my first group for just new moms. I see more groups launching for moms with toddlers, working moms, pregnancy, and they all have an educational piece to it. So it's not just a mom's group where you go and you meet up and you bring the kids or you don't bring the kids. And, that's great. That serves an amazing purpose for the socialization and getting out there and meeting people. But I always felt like it was like, okay, here we are talking about motherhood and this is hard and that's hard and making jokes of things. But like, sometimes I always feel like, well, where are we going to go from here? And these groups will help women feel like they actually know what they're doing.
Yeah. Tools, right? Because it's great to talk about it, but what tools are there for us to move forward, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, we can talk all we want, but we come back home and what are we gonna do?
I know, exactly. We can just complain about it,
right?
And, get it off our chest, and that feels good. That has a purpose, but like some of the things that we talk about in this new moms group, the last class, which I haven't learned the content yet all fully, is relationships and communication, and talking about like, how to deal with your husband and like, or your partner, and just having open communication. Like, that's something that we don't talk about. Like when we have babies, it's just like, oh, here you go, I have a baby. Everything just changed. Figure it out yourself. So there's content like that. There's talk about the identity shift from, being you to being a mom. There's talk about, normal newborn behaviors, sleep, because we're all obsessed with sleep with a newborn, and also health and wellness for the mom, which is the very first class, which I think that's what I'm most passionate about, is making sure that these moms are, taking care of themselves and aware of what's going on in their bodies, within those first few months of having a baby.
That's crazy. I know. And it's, the thing is that, there is many books, there is many little groups out there. There is many little things, but what goes through our heads, right? In those first 3-4 months, it's almost the inability to accept that we are not what we were.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that now we have to divide our time in a way that we don't lose ourselves in the process. And that's what ends up happening to a lot of us. We lose ourselves in the process, and then it's very, very hard to reel it back in.
Absolutely.
So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued about understanding and learning from you in the future when you start doing this more frequently, how the acceptance rate changes,
right,
by having this support system and tools for the woman, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a great show, oh my god, I'm going blank, it's about moms, working moms. Yes, my god, I just hope that every single mom watches that show as soon as they come out of the hospital.
It's hysterical. I know, it really is a good binge worthy thing for maternity leave.
It is a really good show, and I can just say it's as true as it comes. Right?
Yes.
So what are we hoping to accomplish when this initiative starts taking place?
Yeah, so great question. So I definitely, like, my biggest goal in these groups is just to build community and make women, moms, feel heard and seen. So they have a safe place to talk about their experience of becoming a mom, whether it's a good one or a bad one, an easy one or a hard one. Like, all moms are welcome. The ones that are thriving, the ones that are surviving. I just want women to come together to talk about it more. Like, we need to bring more awareness of it. And I'm not the expert. Yes, I'm getting a certification in these blanket, like, topics of conversation that are very important and I'm passionate about. But that's why I'm meeting with all these awesome women, so I can have like resources, and I can say, you're having, if somebody talks to me and says I've divulged information that they're having, like, leakage problems from having a baby. Well, here's a pelvic floor therapist that I recommend. Give her a call. She'll do a free consultation. And that's one thing that we never talk about in this country. But in other countries, I think it's in France, you literally get a prescription for pelvic floor therapy after you have a baby. And yeah, I could go on a tangent on the other countries. Speaking of working moms, they're in Canada. I think they have a year of maternity leave. Yep.
Yeah.
And in this country, we don't even have any mandatory maternity leave. It's based on the company. So
no, in Puerto Rico, they give you 3 months, 90 days paid for. But here, there's no obligation for the employer to either keep you or pay you more than 6 weeks.
Yep.
Like, who recovers in 6 weeks? I couldn't even walk in 6 weeks.
It infuriates me. Like, we are the ones who create life. Like, you people running this business wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a woman.
Everybody.
Seriously. So,
oh my God.
I want to accomplish. I just want to build a community out here, just making women feel like they're not alone, that they don't have to do this alone. Our society puts a lot of focus on like being I can do everything myself. Like, and some of the things we talk about in the group is like just asking other people for help and stuff like that too, which is something you have a hard time doing. You might have been a very independent person like me before I had kids, and I was just like, I'm going to do it all. And
doesn't really go that way, huh?
Nope. Nope, you burn out. You burn out. Even if you are a stay-at-home mom and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna do the laundry, I'm gonna do dishes. This is like my job. No.
No. Yeah. I still do a lot of that. Now, did you find, Tina, that that this is more common on like newly moms, or do you also see that there is moms that even though their kids are already in school or maybe elementary, middle school, or high school, that go through the same issues just because they're just home?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that after like sharing this new class in Facebook groups, moms groups, things like that, people have been saying, well, is there anything, like if you have something for older kids or if you have something for moms with toddlers, I'd be really interested. Like even women who have teenagers are saying like, I want a support group for moms with teenagers.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, we all need, exactly.
I'm gonna need that soon.
Yes. So I see that it's something I feel like we've just gotten away from, like as a society, as a whole, no matter what stage of motherhood you're in. But maybe it's like starting with our generation. But like, technology, and they talk about like in the Industrial Revolution, like everything just kind of distance people from being like, the true village. And it's in our, like, we are mammals, like we're the only mammals that don't like raise kids in herds, like like where gorillas will have babies and they will literally raise it as like in a village. So I could go off on a tangent about societal things, but
I know, I understand. But I think through the entire motherhood, we need support. It's not just for new moms.
Yeah.
It's basically is basically through your entire journey, right?
Totally.
And you never stop being a mom. That's the thing.
No.
But I think the entire journey of like from pregnancy to all the way until they become somewhat independent, go to college or
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
It is a very, very long and difficult and a roller coaster of emotions. Like it's a very unexpected journey, you know.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And then that's why I love this program and what they do out in Boston. They like make you, they pair you in groups of what like the same like like a toddler mom, right? They call it a veteran moms group. So you have maybe one kid who's 2, one kid who's 3, you have a couple kids. So there's a whole series of classes for veteran moms that I will be learning as well, and a whole series for working moms. So I will be launching more of these groups. So stay tuned for that. I'm just starting, I have big, big dreams for this business and big, big dreams for helping lots of moms. But I got to start small because it's just me right now and I'm still a mom.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's, I mean, I think we can talk about this topic for like weeks.
I know. Seriously. Yeah.
But I think it's great that someone, I think the biggest thing, and I think you will do amazing at this, is that you will bring understanding and a non-judgmental space for people,
Yes.
because you've definitely been treating others that way. You've been wanting to be treated that way, and
Exactly.
it's easier when you have exercised that
Mm-hmm.
and trying to bring a group together to not, the foundation not to be based on problems but based on solutions, and how can we be a support system moving forward. And
Totally.
play dates are great, having moms to talk to is great, but a real support system with tools to actually, let's implement this, let's do that, this has worked for me, this has not worked for me.
Yep.
I think an action based support group, it's amazing to have, and I cannot wait to see what you do with it.
Thank you, Monica. I
Can't wait to see
appreciate
what you do with it.
it. I'm very
So this is Tina on her second, or I mean, second season of this podcast, but she has lived many seasons through her life, right? And this is the new season for her.
yes.
And then you'll be going through a whole other season when Lucky goes to preschool in October,
Yes.
like in the fall,
Yes.
not September, right? September,
Yep.
September.
Yep. Fall.
That's
Yep.
when school starts. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows what's
I
gonna
know.
spiral from there, but
I
I think it is amazing, and I think you already do an amazing job supporting moms out there. But I
think.
love that you're making it official and you have found within that passion, that vision, and that
Yes.
that you want to achieve. I love it.
Yes, anything's possible. You can change it up at any
Yeah,
point in your life. Like
yeah,
what makes you feel good. Like
yeah.
too. You've made some changes, so I'm preaching
We
to
all, a
you.
lot of changes in our lives,
Mhm,
a lot.
mhm. Yeah. Now, you can tell me all about that later.
Yes, we will talk about all of that. But thank you, Tina, for being here with us today.
I
I really
appreciate it.
appreciate you. I love you. And I know that this is going to be an amazing journey, not just for you, but for everyone that decides to hop on that boat and take advantage of what you have to offer. So
Thank you.
kudos to you. And I'll
Yeah.
see you later.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Monica.
All right. Take
All right.
care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you to our guest, and we appreciate you listening and watching today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at TranscendwithM on Instagram, at Monica Dwani on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and watch a repeat of this episode in our YouTube channel. Remember, keep resilient, keep growing, and keep being empowered. We will see you next week.